So we're happy to have with us today the newest attorney in our law office, Abagale McCurdy. Abagale is a May 2022 graduate of the University of Toledo College of Law. She took the bar exam in July of 22, and she passed the bar exam and became sworn in as an Ohio attorney in November of 22. Welcome, Abagale.
Hi, thanks for having me today.
So, Abagale, I wanted to talk about your journey to become an attorney. Why don't you start out about where you grew up and talk about your early life for us?
So I grew up about 2.5 hours south of here in Fredericktown, Ohio. It's a village of about 2,000 people, so not a very big town. I think my graduating high school class was 84 people, so it was really small. So I grew up there, and then later on we moved to the town over, Mount Vernon, Ohio, not very much bigger than Fredericktown, and so that's where I grew up, and it's just me, my mom, and dad.
Mount Vernon is near where Kenyon College is in Gambier, Ohio.
Correct. It's about 10 minutes away from there.
Was it a rural community, a bustling small town?
It's a very rural farming community. Some of my favorite things to bring up to people that aren't from rural towns is like we had drive your tractor to school day, and bring your farm animals for a petting zoo day and things like that. So if you didn't know somebody that was farming, it would be very unusual. And if you didn't know somebody, you probably were the farmer.
So when you grew up, were most of the people that you went to grade school with the same people you knew in high school?
Absolutely. Like most of the people, I mean, I went through preschool to graduation with those people, yeah.
In high school, why don't you talk about what sort of activities you were involved with and what your goals were in high school?
And well, starting from when I was 5, I started playing basketball, so that was really my big activity throughout high school. I played basketball, I did summer basketball, all those things, so I was really involved in that. And I ran cross country for a brief period of time. I wasn't very good at it, so I didn't continue that one, but basketball was my main thing. And then just focusing on school so I could go on to college and hopefully get some scholarships and things like that. So those were my two big things.
What did you want to do in college, and why college?
When I left high school, I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I had to go to college because, I mean, my parents, they don't come from money. We never had a lot of money growing up, and we lost our house when I was in 6th grade and things like that, and we went to food banks and things like that. So I knew I had to go to college to have a better life for myself, my family, things like that. But I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But I just knew college, like that's what I knew was going to get me to be able to have a comfortable life. So I actually went on to college and I started and majored in nursing. And because that was really the only representation of like a stable job source that I had seen in my life, and I thought that would be something that I could do, and I would get a job immediately after graduation and I'd be comfortable. So I said nursing, so I did that for a year, and then I went to go visit my grandpa in the hospital and I passed out. And so my mom goes, oh, maybe you should think of another career choice because that's probably not it.
So where did you go to college?
So I started at a small community college in Mount Vernon, but then I ended up transitioning and finishing at the Ohio State University. So that's where my bachelor's is from.
So how many years did you actually attend Ohio State?
For 3.
And you went to Ohio State in Columbus?
Yep.
When you were in nursing, was that at the community college?
It was. So that's Mount Vernon Nazarene University. I took my first year of core classes there just so I could live at home, work, make money, things like that. I didn't want to go away just yet.
When you went to Ohio State, is that when you switched majors?
It is. So I actually, before I went over to Columbus, I actually took a year off and regrouped and thought about what I kind of wanted to do with my career and my future and things like that. So I got a job working as a night auditor and front desk receptionist at a hotel, and I worked the night shift 3 days a week. Did that for 2 years, and then I went over to Ohio State.
So I'm assuming that after you were working in real life full-time for a year, school seemed a lot more attractive.
I couldn't say it better. Yeah, exactly. I did that job, and I knew that I didn't want to do that job for the rest of my life, and I knew that it wasn't going to get me to the things that I wanted to get to.
So did you live at home when you went to Ohio State?
I lived at home for the first year, and then I moved over to Columbus.
What was your original major at Ohio State?
So when I moved over to Ohio State, I started majoring in criminology and political science. So I have a bachelor's degree in criminology, and then my minor is in political science.
When did you make the decision, hey, I don't want to be a prison guard or be a probation officer, maybe I should go to law school?
Yeah, so that was the thing. I majored in criminology, and it fascinated me. I liked it immediately, but I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? And so when I moved to Columbus, I obviously needed a job, and there was a law firm that was hiring. It was a bankruptcy law firm. And so I started working there as an attorney support intern, and just like after talking with the different attorneys and different paralegals and things like that, and I really liked what I was doing there and what I was learning, that's kind of when my focus shifted over to like, okay, maybe I want to go to law school, and I just started to look into it from that point. And so that's kind of how that journey for me started.
So how did you end up from Mount Vernon to Columbus to coming to Toledo for law school?
The few months before I graduated, and was looking into going to law school, taking the LSAT, all of those things. Took the LSAT, started applying to different law schools around Ohio. I think I applied to every law school in Ohio. So it really came down to where can I get the best bang for my buck, essentially. So it was between Cleveland and Toledo. I had full ride scholarships to both of those schools, and I just came up here. I have some family up here. My dad's family is from Bowling Green, Ohio. So this just felt like the better fit when I came up here and visited the school and talked with the different faculty and things like that.
3 years at law school in Toledo. What activities were you involved in? What classes did you like the best?
I think my favorite class that I took was definitely torts class, which, I mean, that's kind of what we do here. It's all we do here is torts and civil suits. So that really had my interest. So springing off of that, I was a teacher's assistant for the torts class. Then later in my second year, I was on law review. I served as an editorial board member and note and comment editor for the law review. I was involved in various activities. I was president of the National Lawyers Guild. It was an organization that actually didn't exist when I started law school, and I worked with a group of students to bring that back to the school, so that was really cool to see. And then I got to be a part of the civil advocacy clinic there at the law school as well, which was a really cool experience.
For those people that have never taken the bar exam, how enjoyable was studying and taking the bar exam?
It was the opposite of enjoyable. It was definitely a grueling, long process. I think I started studying the second week in May, and then the exam was the last weekend in July, and that was my full-time job, 40 hours, sometimes 40 hours plus a week of just studying. And then you get up to the actual exam, and you're tired of it. You're tired of looking at the stuff. You're tired of trying to remember the stuff. And then you sit for 2 days and you do 200 multiple choice questions, and you do 6 essays, and half the stuff you studied didn't come up once, and you're in this room full of 900 people all typing away or scribbling away. So it was definitely not a fun experience, and I'm really grateful that I don't have to do it a second time.
Right. So it's really nice now that you pretty much can like transfer your license to another state. That wasn't as easy when I was young. So
it's a really great opportunity just to make it more accessible.
Abagale, you indicated that you worked in a bankruptcy firm when you were in college, and then you really liked torts, and you also had the background in criminal justice and political science. So how did all of that help you make your decision of what area of law to practice?
Working at the bankruptcy firm, I really liked it. I liked the not necessarily the type of work I was doing, but the overall legal work. And we represented the banks, so that kind of didn't make me feel so great about that type of work. So when I came to law school, I didn't really know what area of law I wanted to do, which then I ended up serving as a law clerk here at Boyk Law for my second summer of law school. And that's kind of where it all clicked, is I had already taken torts and I knew I liked the civil aspect of law. And then I worked here and it was personal injury work, and I knew coming into law school I wanted to help people. So it was kind of just a matter of figuring out where I was going to do that. So working here, I realized that, in personal injury, we get to help people that have been injured get the compensation that they deserve, and we help them through each step of that. And so it's kind of where it all clicked of, this is the area of law that I want to practice in.
We do mostly civil litigation, personal injury cases, some workers' comp in our office. So let's talk about what are your goals as an attorney, at least the first couple of years.
Yeah, I think right now, just being a newly barred attorney, my goal is to really learn and gain as much experience from you and the other attorneys here, and just learn the process of what's the civil litigation and the pre-litigation, all the processes basically, how it all works and what I can do to best advocate for our clients and things like that. So getting that type of stuff down and just continuing to learn is what I'd like to see happen for myself in the next year or two.
You had the opportunity, just when you were getting sworn as an attorney, you and I were in trial trying a criminal case, which we don't do much of. So was a criminal trial what you thought it was going to be like, or was it a lot different?
In some ways it was a lot different, and in some ways it was what I was expecting. My law school experience took care of the part that I was expecting, but I think even myself, like I watch crime TV and things like that, and you see like on SVU they go to court and everything like that. It was a lot less exciting than that. There wasn't anything that you see in the TV on the TV shows that didn't really happen. But it was a really cool experience to get to see a federal criminal trial from start to finish and get to be a part of that. And I learned a lot, and getting to see not just one attorney, but 3 attorneys and a couple prosecutors cross-examine and examine different witnesses and stuff. It was really good to see.
Let's talk about your hobbies and interests. When you're not here, and you probably should be here, 90 hours a week, what else are your interests? Yeah,
so when I'm not here, I have a hound dog, Chloe. She's 4, and she requires all the walks, and in her opinion, I probably don't give her enough walks, but so usually I take her out to a metro park or something like that, and if I'm not walking Chloe, I like to go hiking or just be outside doing something, traveling. Me and my partner and I, we really like traveling up into Michigan and seeing things like that, so just random things.
So you're somebody not from Toledo and have been both in a small town and a big city like Columbus. What do you think of the Toledo area?
I really like Toledo, and that's one of the reasons I decided to stay up here after law school. Is it's not Malvern and Ohio with the 3,000 people, and it's not Columbus. It's a nice middle ground. I think there's a lot to offer up here, and I think that Toledo also has a lot of potential to continue to grow and expand. So I really like that, and I like getting to explore an area that I'm not super familiar with. I'm all the time finding little places throughout Toledo, whether it's a diner or a coffee shop or something like that, that I'm like, oh, this is now my go-to coffee shop.
Thanks for being with us, Abagale, and I look forward to working with you and watching you grow and become a fantastic attorney. I'm confident that that'll happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. that's where working here, it kind of clicked of,